Your heart is racing. Your palms are sweating. You haven't moved from your chair in 20 minutes. There is no lion in the room. There is no danger anywhere near you. And yet your body is preparing to run for its life. You know this feeling. Maybe it hit you before a meeting, or a first date, or the moment you saw an unread message from someone you didn't want to hear from. Your chest tightened. Your thoughts sped up. Something ancient took over. But the real answer is far stranger than stress. Your brain is not malfunctioning. It is doing exactly what it was built to do 300,000 years ago on a savanna you will never see. Let's go back there. Picture a small group of early humans walking through tall grass. The sun is high. The grass moves. Was that the wind? Or was it something with teeth? There was no time to think it through. There was only time to react. The humans who paused to calmly analyze the rustling grass often didn't survive long enough to pass on that calm, careful thinking. The humans who flinched first, who assumed danger before they had proof, lived to have children. And those children inherited the same jumpy, cautious brain. This is the foundation of what scientists call the negativity bias. Psychologist Paul Rosen spent decades studying why bad things affect us more powerfully than good things of equal size. A single insult can undo a dozen compliments. A single mistake can erase a week of good work, at least in how it feels. Rosen's research showed this isn't a personality flaw. It's a design feature. Bad events historically were often fatal. Good events rarely were. Here's the part that feels almost unfair. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a real lion and a scary email. Both trigger the same ancient alarm system, a small almond-shaped structure deep in your brain called the amygdala. The amygdala doesn't read context. It doesn't check whether the threat is a predator or a Slack notification. It just asks one question, over and over, many times per second. Could this hurt me? When the answer might be yes, it sounds the alarm before your conscious mind even understands what happened. Neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux mapped this pathway in extraordinary detail. He discovered that a threat signal can reach the amygdala through what he called a low road, a fast, sloppy shortcut that skips rational thought entirely. Your body can begin reacting to danger before the thinking part of your brain has even finished processing what it saw. Think about that. You can be afraid of something before you know what it is. This explains why a phone buzzing at 2 a.m. can flood you with dread before you've even looked at the screen. Why the sound of your boss's footsteps outside your office door can make your stomach drop. No words exchanged yet. Why a silence on a phone call, just 2 or 3 seconds too long, can make your whole body brace. None of these things are lions. But your amygdala doesn't know that. It only knows something changed, and change used to mean danger. So what actually happens inside you during one of these moments? Your hypothalamus sends a signal to your adrenal glands. Adrenaline floods your bloodstream. Your heart rate climbs so more blood reaches your muscles. Your breathing quickens to pull in more oxygen. Your digestion slows down, because digesting lunch is not a priority when you might need to run. Your pupils widen so you can see more of your surroundings. Every single one of these changes exists for one purpose: to help you either fight or flee from something physical. But you're not running from anything physical. You're sitting at a desk. You're lying in bed. You're standing in line at a coffee shop, replaying a conversation from 3 days ago. Your body prepared a battle plan for a war that isn't happening. Here is where it gets even stranger. Psychologist Robert Sapolsky, who studied stress for decades by observing wild baboons, found something the baboons could do that we mostly can't. When a baboon escapes a predator, its stress response ends. The lion is gone, the danger is over, and the baboon's body returns to calm within minutes. Humans are different. We can trigger the exact same stress response just by thinking. No lion has to be present. No danger has to be real. A memory is enough. A worry about tomorrow is enough. An imagined worst-case version of a conversation that hasn't even happened yet is enough. Sapolsky's work suggested something unsettling. We are, in a very real sense, the only animal that can be chased by a lion that exists only in our own heads. And unlike the baboon, we can keep running from it for hours, sometimes for years. Why would evolution leave us with a system this sensitive, this quick to fire, this hard to turn off? Because for almost all of human history, being too cautious cost you very little. A false alarm meant a few wasted seconds of fear over a shadow, a stick that looked like a snake, wind that sounded like footsteps. But being too relaxed could cost you everything. There was no version of natural selection that rewarded a chill, unbothered ancestor who assumed the rustling grass was probably nothing. So the trait that got passed down wasn't calm. It was vigilance. Your nervous system is quite literally the descendant of every ancestor who panicked first and asked questions later. This is why modern life can feel so exhausting in a way that seems to make no logical sense. You are not in physical danger most days. There is no predator stalking you through your kitchen. But your brain was never updated for a world of emails, deadlines, notifications, and comment sections. It is still running ancient software on a body that lives in a completely different environment than the one it was built for. Every unread message becomes a rustle in the grass. Every awkward silence in a conversation becomes tall grass that might be hiding something. Every red notification badge becomes a shape moving at the edge of your vision, and your amygdala responds the same way it always has. It sounds the alarm first. It asks permission never. Here's the twist that changes how you might see all of this. This system isn't broken. It's ancient, but it's not defective. It did exactly what it needed to do for hundreds of thousands of years, and it is still doing that job today, just aimed at the wrong targets. Once you know this, something shifts. The racing heart before a meeting isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a signal that your 10,000 generations old alarm system just mistook a conference room for a savanna. The dread before opening an email is not weakness. It's a body doing its ancient job in a modern world it was never designed for. You cannot delete this system. You cannot argue your amygdala out of firing. But you can learn to recognize the moment it happens and remind yourself gently that the grass is probably just grass. So the next time your chest tightens before a phone call, or your stomach drops at the sound of footsteps behind you, or silence stretches a beat too long on the other end of the line, remember where that feeling actually comes from. It's not really a boss, or a deadline, or a text message. It's a lion that stopped existing 300,000 years ago, still running through the tall grass of your mind, and a body that has never quite stopped listening for it.